With the recovery efforts in Greenland, the American Red Cross is on the ground there helping storm victims after this week's the EF1 tornadoes. 5 News reporter Morgan Wrigley is live there now. And Morgan, volunteers told you they want people to know they are not alone.
That's right, Darren. In the hard-hit neighborhoods like this one in Greenland, those volunteers are going around, they're going street by street, and right now their focus is really just checking in with the residents here. They say some of these volunteers are going door to door with relief supplies like tarps, water, and blankets, while others are surveying the damage and seeing what the immediate needs are. Right now they're focused on making first contact, and after that they'll start following up on specific needs, including help replacing lost medications, making sure families have what they need to get through this.
We're going to continue calling people and stopping by people's houses and just assessing damage. After that, then we'll start making phone calls and checking to see if people need their medications replaced, because sometimes that gets lost in the disaster.
And again, if you or someone you know needs help after these storms, you can, whether that's professional services, maybe financial assistance, or even just emotional support, you can contact the Red Cross at 1-800-RED-CROSS or by visiting their website. Live in Greenland, covering news where you live, Morgan Wrigley, 5 News.
All right, Morgan, thanks. The Washington County Sheriff's Office showed this video captured by their surveillance cameras Monday night. It was facing south as the severe weather system was moving east across the area. National Weather Service confirming several tornadoes in this outbreak from Monday night. Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert in the 5 News Weather Center now with details on what these survey teams are finding out. We're learning information, Scott, almost by the minute.
The data continuously is coming in. Now, they're not all complete. I expect more information from Sequoia, LaFleur, and Sebastian counties. If not tonight, perhaps maybe some of that starts to get released tomorrow. There's just a lot of different tornado tracks. We do have up to 7 at this point right now. The first of which was our first storm yesterday. This was going to be towards the north of Gore, right into Gore. That was rated an EF1. It lifted very briefly before dropping back down, lifting just to the west of Greasy, north of Bunch there. The drop, though, continued. You'll notice it dropped another one right there in Stillwell along Highway 59. That didn't lift until it got to Dutch Mills. A second one moving almost east-southeast started right there on the Oklahoma-Arkansas state line south of Summers, lifting near Cane Hill. Lincoln was actually hit by 2 different tornadoes. Now, one of them was relatively short and relatively small, but an EF1 nonetheless. All these in green here, EF1s. The second EF1 in Lincoln was a little bit longer duration, lifting just to the southeast of Prairie Grove, which would be north of Hoggout. We get into Greenland, and this was our strongest tornado thus far. That producing, of course, as we reported on, EF2 damage. That didn't lift, as the damage survey finds, until it crosses Highway 16 between Elkins and Goshen. There are going to be more. In fact, I believe we're going to get some information like that in Madison County, Sequoia, Sebastian, and LaFleur. It's just going to take a little bit longer. Unfortunately, some storms are potentially in the forecast tonight. I'm not expecting much, but there could be a couple of isolated thunderstorms producing some hail. Benton, Carroll, Madison counties included in this level 2 potential. Green here, it represents our level 1 risk of severe storms. A lot of the data keeps most of the storms just out of our area, just to the north and just to the east. A little bit too close for comfort, so we're going to keep a team here tracking these for you overnight. Tonight, should a warning be issued, you'll know where to find us. Now, tomorrow's chance of rain and storms is going to be a little bit higher. That's going to start a pretty active, busy weather pattern that unfortunately is looking wetter and wetter going into your Memorial Day weekend. Not only is there rain chances on the increase for both Saturday, Sunday, some of which continue into Monday, but there could be some severe weather chances along the way as well. The latest there in just a few.
All right, Scott, thanks. New at 6, the Arkansas Attorney General's office approving a constitutional amendment proposed by the League of Women Voters. That amendment targets the ballot initiative process. League says it would block lawmaker interference, speed up legal reviews, and make petitions easier. Attorney General Tim Griffin had rejected earlier versions over wording. He says in the latest submission, the league fixed those issues, and next, they'll need enough signatures now to put it on the 2026 midterm ballot. Summer almost here, and so is the heat. You may have already blasted the AC over these last several weeks, and you may have seen rumors that tariffs could make it more expensive to keep your air conditioning running this year. Reporter Maya Ellison spoke with those who are already seeing the impacts and what they're doing to balance the costs.
Staying cool this summer could come with a price.
I mean, the tariff impact is obviously going to impact a lot of aspects of the business, but it's mainly due to price.
Corey Miller with Refrigeration Electric Supply Company says news of tariffs impacting AC unit production leaves them bracing for those higher costs.
The issue is just overall price increases, and that's kind of what it's hurting.
For wholesale companies, those prices can vary. Repair companies source their supplies from places like China, a key manufacturer of HVAC units and the parts that come with fixing them. An industry now being impacted by President Trump's ongoing trade war with the country.
The most expensive part of any home is going to be your HVAC unit. It's going to be the most energy consuming. It's going to be the most expensive when needing to replace. And not everybody just has many thousands of dollars just to throw down on an AC machine when their unit kind of stops working.
And with the fluctuating costs, local suppliers are also feeling effects.
What we're seeing is a 3 to 7% increase quarterly. So, something that might cost $7,000 could turn into, costing $7,500 to $7,400.
Thomas says they are doing what they can to make adjustments for customers, but the prices will still eventually impact everyone.
All these manufacturers are having to increase their prices. Then the supply houses are increasing their prices for just the miscellaneous parts that we need to finish changeouts or installs. And then that's just ultimately coming down on us. So that's why we're having to increase our prices as well.
That's why he advises Arkansans to plan ahead.
Definitely get your AC systems maintenance and serviced every year at the beginning of every summer. That will cause you a lot less headaches down the road.
New tonight, millions of dollars in funding has been announced by the governor of Arkansas Governor's statewide water infrastructure initiative. The Natural Resources Commission approved an additional $13 million that will go toward improving water mains, replacing meters, and building storage tanks. It's estimated those improvements will impact more than 42,000 Arkansans. Harbor House in Fort Smith celebrating the reopening of its Big Red House. Treatment Center, the treatment home, offers residential addiction treatment for services for men. They've been at the Big Red House since the early 1970s. They say the upgrades they're celebrating will allow them to offer new services and meet the needs of the River Valley.
We have 44 beds, and so we have expanded our capacity by at least 25%. We don't see that the need for alcohol and drug addiction treatment will subside in the foreseeable future, so the need continues.
Harbor House has been offering addiction treatment service in the Fort Smith area since 1966.